Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, where we are playing episode 14 of our first ever series of Captain's Log. We are going to start our new adventure. Still haven't thought of a good title for it. We rolled that, I'll say last week, but it was yesterday, the actual mission type and defined what that mission was. And we are opening up our first act 1 of this in scene 1 with the Rumpter. The USS Rumpter is under attack. So we will have the Captain's Log. Oh man, give me a second. I hadn't done the Stardate. So, Captain's Log. Captain's Log, Captain Matane, 52, Stardate 5235.4. We have returned to the edge of the Alpha Quadrant to assist in the research into the Titan and deflector technology therein. We have come into the sector, and during our investigations, something triggered the Titan to begin an attack. I don't know, it's the only way I can really think, because the only way... No, actually, how would that episode have worked on telly? I think I'm using... If I'm slightly skew with, I do apologise. It's because I'm using rough and ready stuff, because everything has been packed in boxes, and this is a very, very low quality tripod that I have this on at the moment. I mean, calling it a tripod is really giving it airs and graces, because it's not. It's a stick with a base. And I can't tell if I'm slightly skew with or not. If I am, I apologise. Just lean to the side whilst you're watching. And so I don't know whether the episode would just... I think we would just bang in to us being attacked. So what we might do is we might turn to the matrices, generate random threat spends, and just see what comes up, and then we can decide what it is that is on this Titan is attacking us. So we've got a 10. A 10 comes up as a psionic incident. We will roll a psionic incident, but I don't know if that will work for us. 7, hostile telepathic species. No, maybe they could have come out of cryo, awoken deep in the hull, and then maybe. They're piloting little shuttlecraft, little fighters. They are a telepathic species. Maybe. Let's try another one and see what happens. So we'll have our threat is a 3. Gravity. Oh, dear me. 13. Random shifts. No, that doesn't work either. I think we'll go. We'll keep the psionic threat. So we've got. So at the moment we have hostile telepathic species. Hostile telepathic species. So they are at the moment piloting little fighters, and we are going to say that the collective of their fighters that are attacking the Federation will have the standard opposition within combat of 3 boxes. Where they had taken the initiative and begun attacking us, the Federation. So we start off with 1 hit. So let's set the scene. On board the bridge of the Rumpter, we have Matane is speaking to Officer Relic, and we come in with them talking to each other as the camera pans into the bridge. The captain is at the science console, which is at the back of the bridge. The captain has moved over. We just see the captain go over as we have... who was the communications officer? We did do a communications officer, didn't we? We had a name for a communications officer. Siku. Lieutenant Siku says, Captain, we're receiving some strange signals as Matane is reaching Relic. And then what was his name? Tintin. Tintin was one of the pilots. McLeod was our main pilot at Con. Lieutenant McLeod, Scottish accent, Captain. That wasn't Scottish, was it? Right there, like, no, that's not Scottish. I don't know what that was. Anyway, Scottish accent. Scottish. It's like that, isn't it, really? Scottish. It's very Scotch. I don't know. I need to practice my Scottish. I could do this. I'll do it like this. I don't know what the accent this is, but I'll do this one. Captain, we're being attacked, Captain. I'm much better at just go, right there, Captain. We're being attacked, Captain. It's Captain Pete. And so everyone turns to look at the main screen, and then we get all buffeted, and everyone runs over to the right-hand side and runs over to the left-hand side, and we begin the attack. And so we will use the flowchart on page 203, the combat flowchart. Create hit tracks, done. Choose a character. And so we will have the ship is going to be the one who is going to be fighting against. We are going to be attempting to do rolls against this to avoid things. If we succeed, the opposition gets hit. If we fail, we get hit. If there's any momentum or threat being spent, we will spend it and we will move on. So there are lots of these tiny little fighters, single person fighters that are seeming to be coming out and attacking us. But maybe it's like that bit, was it Guardians of the Galaxy, where all of those pristine people are piloting, remote piloting fighters. They're not actually in the fighter. Maybe it's like that. Maybe the threat is inside. Maybe this is changing from what it was into something else today instead of yesterday. So we will have these little fighters are beginning attack runs on the Rumta and the various other ships, Federation and otherwise, that are within this area studying this Titan. And we will buff it around and we'll see what happens, and we'll call that scene 1 of our act 1. So we'll see how we succeed or fail on scene 1 based on that. So we have, they have the advantage. We need to, let's see. So we will do, first off, we're going to do engines and con as we attempt to do evasive maneuvers off the bat. We have nothing that can help us with evasive maneuvers. We have 2 6s. Oh, that's not bad. That is a momentum because our engines is a 6, our con is a 2. We're underneath the engines. We're not underneath the 2 though, of course. Advanced sensor suite, dedicated subspace transceiver array, improved warp engines, slim sensor silhouette. But we get a momentum. We can burn a momentum straight away. So we will say we add 1 hit to the opposition. We'll remove 1 hit from ourselves by burning the momentum. So, and then they take a hit. And so we are going, so Matane is going to shout evasive maneuvers Alpha 27 and a widespread photon torpedoes. Let's get to the far side of this Titan. And then we will, so the ship is going to do evasive maneuvers briefly. There'll be a widespread of torpedoes, which we're going to see several of these ships getting knocked out all at once. We're going to turn to Relic. Relic, how are shields? Sir, rerouting energy, rerouting from the advanced sensor suite. Excess energy has boosted our shields back up to full. Thus, we've got our hit point back. Then we are going to want to see who the hell these people are. So we're going to do a sensors and science. Matane will then turn to CQ on comms and say, CQ, get in touch with Federation base and find out what the hell's going on. Relic, who are they? And we are attempting to communicate with both of those. So we are going to do sensors and science at this point, which is a 7 and a 3, giving us a 10 as we try to get information in to work out who these things are all of a sudden that have appeared. We might not even know now that they've come from the Titan. Do we have to go back into the Titan where all those bodies were? We have a 10 and an 8. A 10 is on the bridge of 10. The 8 is below. We'll call that a success. I can't remember if you need to be under the target or on the target. I get an inclination you have to be under target. Can't remember finding it. We're going to say you need to be under target today. If it changes, this is how you should really. So if you DM, this is how I would DM, and I would advise anyone to DM or play at the table. If you cannot find a roll within a couple of seconds, skip it, make up the roll for today, check it afterwards if you can be bothered and if you remember. Otherwise, you might remember by the end of the session anyway. So we're going to say you need to go under target, not on target, though more than likely you have to go on target. So it's just a success. So we get a success which applies 1 hit to the opposition. So the hit is knowledge rather than we've done any more damage. We have worked out that these things are coming from inside. Oh, I know how we can finish it. If we defeat them, because they're telepathic species, I know how we can defeat them. We'll block their signal. Because we've got a slim silhouette, we've got a dedicated subspace transceiver array, and we've got an advanced sensor suite. We can just send out a wave of energy to block their telepathic signal. All right. So this is this bit. Then we're going to catch up, and then we can work out what's on the ship. Maybe we'll go on board. Maybe we have to go. Maybe we have to buddy up with Craft. Instead of Craft fighting us with the attack, we've got to buddy up on the Titan. There we go. Change the story. So we are told that these craft are coming from within. That all of a sudden they appeared surrounding the Titan, and they began attacking anything within closeness to the Titan. We still have, let's say there are people on board. There are teams on the Titan, is what we're told. There are teams on the Titan. Are they being attacked? We'll work it out. Are they being attacked? Question mark. We'll work that out later. This is what we're told, and that gives us information about these things. Maybe they're too small. Maybe they're like the spheres, the UAPs that are being seen. They're too small and move too fast to potentially have anything organic in them. So maybe that's what these things are doing. They're darting around too fast and they're too small. So they could be drones. So maybe we're thinking these could be drones, as the UAPs could be. They're just not our drones, as in human drones. They could be drones, and so if you've got a drone, then a drone has a signal, and a signal can be blocked. That is what Matane is thinking. So Matane is going to get the team to now do, let's go science and sensors, which is what we did before. So science and computers, because we're going to run a signal. Science, that gives us an 11 as well. Science or security would try and hack their signal. Security and computers would give us an 11, and we're trying to pick up on their signal and hack it and intercept it, which is an 11. So we've got an 11 as we attempt to get the room with Matane will turn to Relic and ask CQ to go over to Relic station. No, Relic to go over to CQ station and let's see if we can block their signal. And we'll instruct Lieutenant McLeod, Scotty, continue the evasive manoeuvres and just get in the middle of that pack as much as possible to give Relic and CQ as much time to pick up on the signal and keep running evasive. That was cool because I didn't want it to be too much of a success. Although that does give us a win. So that is a single success. So we don't get momentum, but we get a success, which gives us the win. So we pick up on the signal. There is some strange, Captain. There's some strange signal being received. It could also almost be declared as a telepathic signal that we're picking up on our, because they've got the advanced sensors. 7 is sensors, but it is below computers. So 7 is our sensors. We've got a 7. So that is sensors. Which is our Talent's Advanced Sensor Suite, dedicated subspace transceiver array, means that we're picking up on a weird signal. It's not quite subspace, but it's something that we don't really know what that signal is. But we are able to block that signal by sending out a counter wave, which blocks the signal, and then all of a sudden these little drones disengage, and I'm going to call this one UAP, and disengage and start to float away in space, and we'll call that scene 1 a success. Now, I don't know if we need the flashback now, really. Maybe we will do that, and we are going to do, but not us, we're going to do a scene that isn't us, maybe a different team. My God, it's cold this week in Sydney. Maybe if this black clashes with the background, I do apologise. I'll try and keep my arms in, because one of the episodes I looked like I was transporting. I had all ripply edges. Maybe we'll do a cut scene which flashes across to on board the Titan, and we will have we'll use the Rumpter's stats for on board the Titan as people are investigating, and then we can see what happens leading towards, and we'll use because I don't know what I mean, like Mr. Reddit was mentioning about using the matrices, but the matrices are so precise that I don't know which matrix to actually rely upon to actually ask, because I haven't. I mean, I've got neurological stuff that just reading through the matrices, it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's an awesome book, awesomely put together, but there are a few things that I think are possibly missing, such as just a simple verb table. And I would use, as Michael Dismuk suggested, Starforged, who has awesome, but that's in a box, inventoried, ready to go off to Belgium, so I can't get access to it. Let's say we are going to cut to a scene which is earlier, we'll just say earlier, which is a science team of mixed inhabitants. So we've got the Klingon team and the Romulans. It isn't our Klingon friend, but they are going to be investigating the insides of the Titan, and we'll see if they can trigger something. If they fail, and if they do, they will trigger something which then awakens the people on the Titan, causing that event to happen. So let's see what they are looking at first. We'll roll verbs. So because it's 2d20, it's acknowledging this list of verbs, which is 2d20 verbs. The ones on the end, so the 2s and the 40, are going to come out less than the ones in the middle. It's a bell curve. We've got 22. 22, engage. All right, activate, walk, begin, comment, commit diplomatically. So we have engage. So they possibly are fiddling with something on board the Titan that they shouldn't do, which we would be expecting. And we've got 14, brace. Okay, so something gets prepare for impact, physical or emotional. So something. So we've got engage and brace. So something. That would be, maybe that's the reason. Do you remember, because we were saying that people were being affected and going a bit off the edge by waves coming off this Titan in that first mission? Maybe that's the telepathic. Maybe that's the species, because they're telepathic. Maybe it was the computer trying to communicate or something, but the waves were telepathic, which was which was interacting with people. So we've got engage and brace. Let's do one more. What have we got? We've got noun. I did a noun table as well. Space Navy verb table, warp crystal era. What have we got here? 21. 21. Oh, that's just a d20. 2. Dimensional rift. Dimensional rift might be. Dimensional rift. Maybe that's what powers this thing. What else we got? 1. Crystalline core. Crystalline core would be all right, but I like dimensional rift. I reckon, let's say this thing uses a dimensional rift engine. So they didn't. So once they've got into, they dug into the power source. So there is. So these people have torn the fabric of reality, and are using the energy that comes off of that tear, that dimensional rift. That tear is being contained. So it's in a magnetic core. Oh, this thing goes 40k, doesn't it? With the psionic thing as they punch through to do what was that as in the oh god, what's it called? I can't remember what 40k. When they do their equivalent of warp travel, it's punching into that other space, and it's the psionic presence of them there is what attracts the demons to then follow through when they come through. Okay, so that, maybe that's the psionic bit. Maybe that's what contaminate. Oh, okay. All right. No wonder I use Titan. Okay, so they've got a dimensional rift engine, which is held in a magnetic core. They are studying it. It causes it causes the containment field to break or to fluctuate. So not totally break, but to fluctuate, which awakens the psionic inhabitants of the Titan who they hadn't discovered. Because it's a Titan, it's massive, it's huge. It's like a 3L Atlas, which is on the way at the moment. Is I think it was a mile big. It's a mile or a mile and a half big. This thing is miles. It's huge. It's gigantic. I think the biggest super carrier that we have, because I think I looked it up. I think it's 0.6 of a kilometer in size. I think from memory. That makes the super carrier look. I think it's 0.6. I think it's 600 meters. I think. That makes that super carrier look dinky, like a little sort of Hot Wheels, in comparison to this Titan, this huge ship. It will take them ages, like years, to explore all the cabins, all the compartments, all the space of this Titan. It would take years. But they did find one of the engine rooms, and that engine room, or that power source, is a dimensional rift, and the science team is investigating that. So what we want at the end of these couple of scenes is they break the rift, and then we can see people awakening and then getting on board, and then the attack happening, and then we have our flashback that we talked about. Right, I don't know how long this session's going to go for. We want the science team. Their science team, which is on board, and they are investigating this rift engine. So we are going to give them sensors of 7 and a science of 3, which I think is fair. And they get a success. They get a single success. So this is a scene. So we want this rift to break. And then this is them getting into and exploring the actual space. So first off, we'll have a scene of them finding all that information that we just discussed. Dimensional rift, magnetic coil. It helps power the ship. It's definitely some form of psionic energy. This is previous, so this is just before the attack. All of that information is now known to this science team, which is studying the engines with tricorders out, spread across. It's old technology. There are patches of light. It looks very much like the bridge of the Nostromus before Mother wakens everybody. So there's little bits of light. There's old looking technology. If you think of the Nostromus, like nowadays, we're advanced like that normally, but it all looks like the Nostromus. So old looking things, and this team is studying it, and we will get them talking to each other, doing a bit of exposition, trying to explain to each other what's going on, which then gives us this information that we've just come up with. So that then gives that backstory to the audience, to us, that this team has discovered that, and we get a success for that part of the. Oh, here's the mission tracker. for that part of the mission tracker. So we've got 3 scenes left of this act. So we know what's going on. We want either sometime at the end of, so before scene 4 or before scene 5, because then we'll close this. If we get a failure, particularly if we get a threat, we are going to say that is what happens, and then we'll close Act 1, that the attack then takes place. So then we know that the attack is something that's woken up. So we have them. So next, what they want to do is they want to have a look at this engine, this science team, nondescript science team. Maybe they've sort of worked out how to protect against that waves that's affecting people, but still there's the potential that the team could go over the edge. So we want them, so they're going to try and do some work and do this. I mean, they are a science team, we are an engineering ship, so I think the stats for the Rumpter is fine to use for this team who's doing this investigation. So they are going to want to try and work out what's going on. So what would they try and do next? Would they try and get information out of the computers next? Would they try and study the rift a bit more? What are they going to try and do that would make that we want them to fail? And if they don't fail, we're going to just say they fail so our story can roll into our next phase. And anyway, this isn't affecting our crew. Our crew comes in next scene. So maybe this is just one of those episodes that we don't see much. Maybe we'll cut back to the Rumpter at the end of this. How is the Rumpter gonna? How are we gonna resolve this bit? We need to get in probably, or maybe it's communicating with them. Maybe this is. Maybe we can then have a resolution of our failed first contact, but this can be a successful first contact. All right. So we've still got our science team, who are on board the Titan, who are with this Rift engine, and they want to find out some more stuff about the Rift engine. So they're going to start, maybe we'll say, so we've got engage and brace. So they're going to try and, so we've got engage, so they're going to push it too far. The dimensional Rift engine, they're going to push it a bit too far. And they are going to be too inquisitive and push too hard. So we will go, what shall we go? We will give them computers, or this comms, maybe comms, because they're going to try communicating with it. So comms and science gives us 9s. Comms and science gives us 9s as they're attempting to work out from this old computer, and because the tricorders can't interface with this, so they're having to try and interface directly with it and work out how to get it to work. Which is a success. It's only a single success, so they are getting a success in this bit. So we now know that the Rift is powering it. It's a very powerful form of technology. It's producing a huge amount of energy out of it, so it's incredibly energy efficient. But what they don't know is it's caused the Rift into like a dark sphere. We've got a huge amount of energy coming out. Let's see if let's use just the yes/no prompt. Does our Klingon members of this Science Away team, who, or even the Romulans, who are closer, rawer, so our more human or the Federation type members of this team are more practiced at creating that layer on top of their raw emotions, whereas the Klingons are closer to their raw emotions and are less capable of suppressing that anger, so it would be easier for this force to influence. So we can say, let's go, it's probable, which is 1 to 15 a yes, it's probable that the being so close to this rift, which is causing the influence, is going to negatively influence the Klingons to act in a brash way. 1 to 15. 12, yes. So they are going to act in a brash way, which means we're going to say for the next success, we need to have a double success to pass this success. And so they are Are they, let's try again, are they, which is, say 50-50, is this thing going to influence them to let the field down, which will then awaken the psionic inhabitants and create the attack? So this is 50-50, 1 to 10. No, it doesn't influence them to let the shield down. So instead, we are going to go, so they're not that pushed to the edge, they're not that stupid to do that. But instead, we will have the science team is very close to this rift. Oh, and then we can have a spark come out. And so if they found, so are they getting too close to it? So if they get too close to it, is let's go sensors and security, which gives us 10s. That is what we wanted. That is a 19 and an 18 against 10s, which is a failure. And a failure is bang on time. So scene 4, which then we can cut to scene 5 and end our first act back at the Rumta. Perfect. Oh man, sometimes the dice really do work properly. We will have the one of the Klingons is going to get really close to it, really want energy. The other members of the team are going to suggest that they back away. And as that happens, we'll have another one of the fluctuations from the field, and a massive spike of psionic energy shoots out of this rift, strikes the Klingon. They are going to rush over. Is the Klingon dead? I think it's somewhat probable. 1 to 12, yes. Is the Klingon dead? Yes. Killing the Klingon outright, but that burst of psionic energy as the Klingon dies causes lights to start coming up in this engine room, and someone can do someone can try and work out that. So we'll have a sensors and a science, which is a 10, which is a single success. They then turn around and say something's coming online. Something is awakening. Something's awakening. Though that's a failure for that scene, where we will then slide cut to capsule pods being opened and bodies sitting up, but we can only see them from behind, and they're wearing, let's say that, so they're wearing hoods. Because they're wearing hoods, we cannot see what they look like. So these pods, we see the pods slide open, smoke starts to come out. Someone sits up and turns with their back, so their back faces the camera, a hood over the top of their head, and they stand up and walk off. Is there more than one of them or just one of them? I think it's, let's say, is there only one of them? 1 to 10 is a yes. 11, no. But it's only one over them. So maybe there's 2 of them. Maybe there are 2, because it was only one above. There are 2 psionics. So there are 2 psionics. So we see 2 of these pods open up, and they sit up and they stand. And as they turn to face each other, we will then cut back to the now with the USS Rumta. And so we've got Methane. So what can Methane work out from this? And how can we then not just back this story into corridor, into like a dead end? So what is Rumta going to say? So Rumta, so scene Act 2, we can go on board. We might forget about that Klingon altogether, and we're just going to go on board. So Act 2, we might board the Titan in a separate section of the ship, and then attempt to explore it and find. Okay, Act 2, we're going to attempt to explore it. Act 3, we're going to make first contact with these psionics. That's what I reckon. So, what we need out of this scene is we need the Rumta to dock with the. So this was something. The first waves were affecting the warp cores, wasn't it? Maybe that's something to do. So the first one, we need to dock with it, and then someone be instructed to go on board. So I think we'll just have that. So we can have this. So what is Methane gonna? So we'll have Methane hasn't done anything so far. All right. Matane is going to use reasoning and science. That gives Matane a 15 for Matane to be able to work out what Matane needs to do. We could just burn a value straight out, but we won't bother. If this is a foul, we'll burn a value, which is, it's not always best to follow processes. So if we fail this, we're going to say it's not always best to follow processes, and we're just going to send the Matane is just going to instruct the Rumta to dock. So we've got 15s. So that, because of the house rule that we created just then, means that otherwise would have given some momentum, but we get a single success. So Matane has worked out that more than likely this is coming from the Titan. The energy is very much similar to the energy that was coming out of the Titan last time. And let's give Matane, is going to go over to the science deck, and Matane is going to, we will use insight and science, and Matane's going to attempt to do scanner operations to work stuff out. So that gives us a 12, and a 10 and an 11 is a momentum. Insight is 8, science is 14, that gives us 12, this gives us a momentum. So we are going to burn that momentum instantly, so we don't have to carry that over to the next session, which will either be this afternoon or tomorrow. Matane is going to know that it is on board, and Matane is going to contact the Admiral who he dealt with last time, who is still present, and say, Admiral, we need to get on board as fast as possible. Because we understand how these energies work, I'm going to take an away team, and we will take the Rumta as close as we can get to the Titan, and we're going to board. We're going to board, find the source of this energy, and try and work out what's going on. And the Admiral's going to say, this is a dangerous job, Matane. I thank you for taking this on, and we'll end this episode with Matane turning to Scotty and say, Scotty, was his name Scotty? His name's McLeod, that's for definite to say. Lieutenant McLeod, get us in as close as you can. Yeah, oh, he's Scottish, not Scotty. He's Scottish. Lieutenant McLeod, get us in as close as you can. Aye, sir. Awful, awful. That and American, obviously. And that's where we'll end the session. Thank you so much if you're a subscriber. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild for all your support in producing these videos. We will find out what is on board the Titan in Act 2 next session. So yeah.